We have Steve Moore joining us, and he's been on the show numerous times, and I'll quickly mention him again. Steve Moore, Americans who are conservative know and love this man. He's an economist. He has served honorably at the Heritage Foundation. He's served in the Wall Street Journal at editorial board. Right now, he's involved in he stepped away from his position with Heritage Foundation to work with the Save Our Country Coalition, which is a coalition, I'll tell you more about in a moment, but a coalition designed to bring into the policy-making decisions the arguments and the concerns about the impact on the economy from the endless, ongoing shutdown of our economy due to the coronavirus. So, Steve Moore, I believe, do we have him on? Yes, we do. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Gabby. How are you?
I'm well. I'm happy to see you. How are you?
I'm good, and I feel, we talked a couple weeks ago, and I was kind of in a glum mood, but I do feel a little bit more upbeat about what's happening around the country right now. Texas, Tennessee, Florida, Georgia, Republican states with great Republican governors are opening up. They're liberating their economies, which is a wonderful thing to see. By the way, they're doing it in a very safe way, and the big reductions in death rates and hospitalization rates in states like Georgia and Florida, and states like Tennessee and Texas and Iowa. Gee, that's the opposite of what the media was saying, right? They said, oh, these Republican governors are going to kill their citizens. So that's really good. But the problem we have, Debbie, is we got so many of these blue states that are still shut down. States like California, states like Michigan and Pennsylvania, and states like New York and New Jersey. And they're really holding back the rest of the economy. But I'll tell you one thing. One message I want to get across to your conservative viewers and listeners: we cannot allow a blue state bailout. If the blue states want to say shut down, that's their prerogative, but they shouldn't come to Washington. They shouldn't come to the residents of Texas or Tennessee or Iowa or Utah and say, hey, bail us out. No way.
Could not agree more. That blue state bailout, bad news. I do hear plenty of comments out of conservatives. I think people are tuned into what they're trying to do. So I want to hear this. First of all, I just love the name Save Our Country Coalition. I love that you all gave yourselves that name. I love that you're pushing this effort. So I saw that President Trump had, I think announced yesterday, the day before, announced the idea that he was going to have some, his ability to use his executive power to deal with the agencies and say, you need to be holding back or cut back on regulation that is in any way impeding the economy rebounding. So can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, I was surprised by that myself, and I was just jumping up for joy when I saw the president do that. He's getting back to his strike zone, which is cutting taxes, reducing regulation, cutting red tape, letting businesses do their thing. And when you do that, you get jobs back, you get higher wages, and we need to get America back to work. I mean, don't you think it's about time after 6 or 8 weeks that we start to get our businesses open and our workers back on the job? Now, one problem that I've identified with the president, and he knows this, and he's hopping mad about this, as I think most people in the country, in 31 states now, we're paying more money to people for not working than for working. I mean, how stupid is that?
Stupid and actually really, really hard on employers who say, hey, I'm ready to go back to work, but my team won't come back. I've
heard a lot of stories from employers. I get probably 2 or 3 calls a day. A guy runs a construction company, needs 80 workers. He can't get them because you know what they say? Well, I could go back on that job, but I might make more money watching TV and not having to get up at 6 in the morning. And, those are tough jobs, working on a construction crew or, working in manufacturing. So we've got to fix that problem, and the president knows it. But Pelosi wants to extend that unemployment policy for 4 more months. 4 more months.
Well, yes, she does. And honestly, I really feel like it's a helpful window on the way the differences between what people think about America and the economy. I think that the red states, people saying, yeah, we're going to get back to work. It's going to be a great thing. And there's data showing that the states that are reopening are not seeing the spike in cases that the left tried to warn about. So then you say, well, if there's no spike in cases, what is the reason the blue states are staying closed? You got to ask yourself, it's like politically advantageous to them.
Yeah, they're impoverishing their own citizens. I mean, shame on these Democratic governors. I'm from the great state of Illinois. I grew up in the Chicago area. I love the Chicago area, but it's going to be a wasteland because Governor Pritzker there does not know anything about business. He's was born on third base, and he thinks the solution, his solution is to just keep the economy shut down for weeks and weeks and weeks. They're not talking about opening up until maybe the 4th of July. I mean, there's not going to be economy to open up. I live in Virginia, as you know. Virginia is used to be a red state, then it turned purple. Now it's a blue state. We elected this dunce cap Governor Ralph Northam. He wants to keep the economy shut down till at least the middle of June. And I say, Governor, you're not going to have much of an economy to open up by then. I mean, it's really sad to see what a lot of these governors are doing. But the good news is, I think the red states are really putting pressure on the blue states to open, because people in blue states are saying, wait a minute, why are they open in Florida? Florida population is about the same size, a little larger population than New York. And yet New York has 50 times more cases of coronavirus, so 50 times more deaths than Florida does. And Florida actually has an older population. So you'd think if any state was hit by this, it would be Florida. But no, it's New York, where Governor Cuomo, who the left said, oh, what a wonderful governor is. If you notice, they're saying, oh, he should be the next president. Yeah. He's the worst governor in America. They've got more cases, the worst economy in the country, and they want to make him the president. That tells you a lot about where the left is in terms of getting prosperity back. But meanwhile, I got to say this. Ron DeSantis is really becoming a big hero around the country for what he has done in the great state of Florida.
He is, in his speech, you probably saw it, I don't know, last week I think it was, where he ran through the predictions for my state were X, and here's what it really was, Y. And when he reopened, he was criticized heavily, and there are people saying, when does he get an apology for all the vitriol aimed at him? When does he get someone saying, okay, I want to turn and talk, if I could, Steve, about the state of Virginia. So I know you're in Virginia, and I saw a great story. There's a little bit of a citizen pushback about this idea that, you don't, Governor, entirely going to decide when we open up. Maybe we, the citizens, decide a little bit, because they had the shutdown of the beaches, and then there was a big crowd at Virginia Beach. And it was such a big crowd. There were pictures online, big crowd. And it was kind of like the governor, what's he going to do about it? You can't arrest them all. You can't round them all up. So he ended up saying, okay, well, Virginia Beach can open, but not the rest of them. I just thought that was a little bit of I like that. The uprising, the people say, we'll decide when we close, and we're going. I don't know. Did you?
And that's where I am, by the way. I think it's time to take the power away from the politicians and these dictator governors who think they can tell businesses when they can open and people when they can go outside, and curfews and all these things. I mean, these governors are acting like dictators. And why not at this point allow Americans to make up their own minds? I have relatives who are not going to go outside. They're very afraid, and I respect them. And if they don't want to go outside, that's their God-given right. But there are many people who do want to go out. They want to get their hair cut. They want to maybe go to a restaurant. They want to get back to the office and be productive again. And why not let the American people make their own decisions rather than politicians make the decisions for them?
Could not agree more. And there's a fundamental message about conservatism and about America. It's trust the people. Trust the people to make decisions as part of personal responsibility and personal accountability. And I love that message is resonating from conservatives and from President Trump and from the right. And what the left is really telling people is you're more like our subjects. We don't really trust your judgment. We're not going to let you make decisions for yourself. And I hope more people can decide. It's a little bit offensive to them. Okay, one last quick thing, Steve, I got to tell you. I saw this thing in California. Some county, and I was Googling while you were talking, I couldn't find it, but some county in California, the county government has announced they're no longer complying with the shutdown. There will be no shutdown. There'll be no businesses can open. People can travel freely. And even in California, this spirit is emerging a little bit. They're saying, hey, wait a minute, not okay. I don't know if you saw that story, but don't you love that?
It's happening around the country with people. It's civil disobedience. And the problem is, I love those stories, but what I hate is, in some cases, these sheriffs or the, government officials come and literally will take these, like little immigrant shop owners or people who've run a little restaurant or a little shop, and they'll come in and they'll take those people away in handcuffs. I mean, this is not the Soviet Union. This is America. I mean, come on. You're going to put somebody in jail because that they want to earn a living? That should be a fundamental human right, that you're able to earn a living in this country. So there is a real trend in this country to object to that. I think that we're starting to see a light at the end of this tunnel. And I think, thank God, we have Donald Trump as president. One of the smartest things he did was and this was something we had advised him to do, but his instincts are really good. Let the states take the lead. And this is federalism. And it's so amazing. You look at a map. Red states are open, blue states are closed. That tells you a lot about the difference between conservatives and liberals.
It most surely does. So you're part of Save Our Country Coalition. I know you.
Yeah, if people want to find out more, they could just go to the website, Committee to Unleash Prosperity. We're putting out, are you getting our newsletter we put out every morning, the Prosperity Hotline? It has really great information about the real news. Because, by the way, we didn't even get into this, maybe next time, but the media coverage of coronavirus has been as corrupt and misleading and mendacious as I've ever seen before. And that's saying a lot. But almost everything you see in the media, the Washington Post, New York Times, CNN, MSNBC, is a fabrication of what's really going on in this country.
Absolutely true. And I would love next time to talk about what the media is doing and what really is just, as I often refer to them, they are just the kind of communication arm of the left. They are trying, in my sense, trying to keep the people fearful, keep them in their homes, perpetuate the damage to the economy, all yes. with the notion that somehow in the fall, this damaged economy will be President Trump's fault. So I love that you are working with him, and he is stepping up more and more to say, we got to get back to, he's doing a great job.
Thanks again.
Okay. Steve Moore, great to see you. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Okay, folks, that was great. Steve Moore, he's just as you can hear talking to him, he's full of energy, full of excitement. And the organization he's working with now, he stepped away from Heritage. He's working with Save Our Country Coalition. And it's just full of people like us, people who love free markets, who want America to thrive. They want America to be healthy, but thrive and move back and get back to work. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing. So grateful for him. And again, I just signed up. He mentioned you can sign up for the newsletter. I just signed up for that. And I actually think I Googled Save Our Country. I don't know where I signed up, but you can go, oh yeah, Committee to Unleash Prosperity. They give a daily update. They give you all sorts of information. They actually ask for feedback. What do you think about this or that? So great way to get information about this Save Our Country Coalition and the effort to reopen America.